Sector, CNBC TV18's Anisha Jain caught up with MS Unnikrishnan, the MD of Thermax, and Venkatesh Balasubramanian, the infrastructure analyst at Citi, from the sidelines of the Citi India Conference. She begins by asking Venkatesh if Citi still retains their underweight stance on infra.
We still have a marginal underweight on it. Of course, the underweight position has reduced a bit after the quarter, but we still are worried because we believe that the revival in capex, especially on the power side and on the metal side, is still some time away. And those were the two key drivers of capex over the last 4 to 5 years. Actually, it was a key driver of capex over the last decade or so. And we are not seeing too much of revival in capex in those two sectors. And also the recent slowdown on the real estate side also worries a wee bit.
Okay. Let's bring Mr. Unnikrishnan into the discussion as well. Thank you, sir, for joining us. So Venkatesh feels that the recovery is still a bit away, and you as well have been telling us that there has not been a very big pickup seen in the order inflows. That has been stagnant for you. The utilizations haven't really improved that much. But the question is this the worst of it? Will we see a better FY17 from you?
Specifically on Thermax, you may have a flat year almost for the FY17. But since Venkatesh has spoken about the industry, I tend to agree with him and concur with his contention that we may not see a full recovery in terms of the larger sectors like power he has mentioned. Let me add a couple of more of them. Cement, steel, oil and gas, and fertilizer. These are the prime movers for the country in terms of the infrastructure related investment and capex in the country. And I don't expect any one of them to be reviving or showing an improvement in the coming year. However, the capacity utilization in cement has gone up substantially in the last one quarter. Steel is more tad better. So I would, and apart from that, we are seeing a lot of traction in the automobile industry, which would mean the demand for refined petroleum is going to be increasing in the country. So if one way to put all of them together, we are possibly looking forward to an investment cycle revival, possibly in FY17-18 for the sectors. Power, I will not bet for some more time. I would wait for a year more on account of the fact that there is not too much of demand for industrial power. And as you mentioned about, unless construction sector picks up, you may not need residential power either. So that I would keep for a year down the line. So we are not yet ready for a total revival of the capex cycle.
Okay, fair enough. I think Venkatesh will conquer that view. You have a sell on the power ancillaries like Thermax and BHL, whereas you've recently upgraded Larsen & Toubro and the likes. So would you say it's fair to play infrastructure sector through the transmission and construction players versus the power generation and power ancillaries?
See, at this point in time, I think it is better not to look at it from a top-down perspective, but actually look at individual stocks from a bottoms-up perspective. You know, just to give you an example, L&T had a phenomenal quarter and valuations were cheap. So obviously that looks we are very constructive on the name. If you look at Voltas again had a very good quarter, and we believe that the first quarter will be again very, very good. We really like the structural story in Voltas. You know, AC penetration levels are at around 4 or 5%. So we believe there is a big growth ahead of them over the next 3 to 4 years. All they need to do is work on their distribution network. Similarly, we are seeing, if you see bottoms up, Bharat Electronics had a phenomenal year last year. Almost orders of around 170 billion, which was 3 times the orders in the previous year. And even the execution has picked up. So, and most importantly, not only is the government giving them more orders, they're asking them to execute faster. And lastly, they are also paying them much faster. So if I put everything together, I guess Bharat Electronics, Voltas would be my top picks at this point in time. And it is preferable to look at it bottoms up rather than take a top-down call.
Okay, by the way, that's some good news. The Southwest